We are Sorted, a group of mates from London exploring the newest and best in the world of food whilst trying to have a few laughs along the way. We've got chefs, we've got normals, and a whole world of stuff for you to explore, but everything we do starts with you.
Hello, I'm Barry, and this is Michael. Can science help two normals out-chef a chef? Before we start anything, do we all know about MSG?
The human tongue is covered in 200 to 400 small bumps, which contain taste buds. Those taste buds contain taste receptors. When you chew food, your saliva breaks it down into smaller molecules so it can be detected by those receptors. They then identify which taste it is and send an electrical impulse to your brain so you can taste it. Umami basically is the taste of savoury. It's why burgers, ramen, lasagnas and all that stuff are so delicious. But what does this have to do with MSG? Well, in 1908, some clever Japanese scientist identified the exact chemistry of that savoury flavour whilst experimenting with kombu seaweed, and discovered that the amazing taste was down to a naturally occurring salt-protein combination called monosodium glutamate, MSG. MSG has since been extracted, crystallised and exists as a powdered flavour enhancer, as well as naturally occurring in the cooking of meats and mushrooms, etc. A popular belief is that MSG can cause headaches and other feelings of discomfort, but current studies have found no evidence to support this. So, the question is, can you improve the flavour of your food by just adding MSG seasoning? And can two normals use it to create a better burger than a chef in a blind taste test?
So in this challenge, us normals and the chef will have exactly the same ingredients to use. We've got chuck and we've got brisket.
Okay, from what I've read,
A lot of the research that I've read up on,
70% lean meat, 30%
fatty meat, provides you with a fattier burger. And what does fat equal?
Flavour.
Yes.
so I'm going to weigh this out. I'm going to experiment a little bit with the brisket, but I'll probably use more chuck than brisket. And then I'll top it up with fat. Everything's got to be really cold, because it'll heat through and the fat will start melting as it goes through the grinder.
Next thing that we want to do is to cube up our steak and mix it all together in a bowl so that when it goes into the grinder, you're getting bits of each, so it gets perfectly mixed together.
If I stuff you, will you plunge me?
Gonna add everything a little bit at a time, push it down. I'm also gonna add some beef dripping, because that's what I always do when I make burgers. The dripping has been in the freezer. That's my little hack. And that just allows you to play with the fat a little bit so that you can make sure the fat content's right.
What is that? We're not using that, that's pathetic.
Basically, when all the fat spills out of the burger, it cooks in the fat rather than the fat going around to other parts of the pan and you're not able to utilise it.
Fair enough. Still looks silly though, doesn't it? I'm going to go straight out and say, let's just form them. The less you handle them, the better.
Yeah. So if it's completely flat, everything cooks at the same rate.
Yeah.
Whereas if you've got nooks and crannies, you get crispier bits, you get softer bits.
And I'm just gonna gently push it into a ring that is bigger than my bun, because they're gonna shrink as they cook. I'm also gonna weigh my meat. That's super important because you don't want a patty that's too small, you don't want a patty that's too big. I think I'm gonna go for like 120 grams. Because one of the things that I love is a double patty. My patties are shaped, I've barely touched them, so I hope they're going to hold together. To help that, it is essential that you chill your burgers before you cook them. All the fat's going to be cold and then it's going to render out as it cooks. So I'm going to put these in the freezer. You could put them in the fridge for a bit longer, but the freezer's fine too.
Here's where we've got to so far. We've cooked off 2 patties at a very high heat, which may or may not have caused a fire alarm issue. One patty had just salt and pepper on it. The other one had salt, pepper and MSG. Cheers.
I mean, just off the bat, that's great.
Tender in the middle, nice, crispy outside.
Okay, hold that thought. It's a little bit rarer in the middle. Do you know what that tastes like? Pure steak.
That tastes so much better.
This is an issue because it really does work. There have been lots of articles to test whether MSG as an isolated thing is addictive, and there's no evidence for it. But I do keep on going back to that.
I wonder though, it's not like substance itself that is addictive, but the effect that it has on the food is so delicious, it makes it addictive by nature.
It's a dopamine thing, isn't it?
Yeah.
Is that why we've never been addicted to Ben's food?
Could be.
I don't think this is very good for cooking burgers in, but it is good for getting a really good char on the buns. So that's just gonna go on the heat while I cook the burgers. While the burgers are chilling, I'm gonna focus on the rest of my fillings. That's gonna be tomato, lettuce, onion, cheese, and a sauce. So I have two options. Number one is to keep it absolutely classic and just slice it really thinly into rounds. And number two is to make a comeback sauce. I'm gonna go rounds and I'm gonna dice the dill pickle into the sauce.
I'm going to toast our brioche buns in our burger pan so it gets the flavours of burgers. Is that toasty?
No, that's decent.
We haven't even talked about sauce.
I know.
50-50 tomato, ketchup and mayo. And then an extra 20 of French American mustard.
120% of sauce.
Surely that's going to win.
That is most excellent.
That's fantastic.
Well done. Pinch of MSG.
Chuck it in.
Right, sauce time. 3, 2, 1. 3 tablespoons mayo, 2 tablespoons ketchup, 1 tablespoon American mustard, and some dill pickle. Final thing to do is lettuce into a bigger mixing bowl, mix a little bit of the sauce through it just so it all kind of comes together.
I think the fact that MSG is like a naturally occurring substance and isn't something that's been made in a lab. I thought it was a chemical.
Yeah.
I thought it was something that had been made by humans
Like a synthetic chemical.
to make things taste better and more addictive.
It feels like a game changer if it really does make everything taste more umami-ish.
Yeah.
But then it also feels like an absolute cheat, and therefore there's something like immoral about it. If it's going to make normal people or home cooks food taste better, is it bad? Like we need to. Yeah, it's really interesting.
I'm going to put a little bit of beef dripping in the pan as well, although these could probably go into a dry pan because there's so much fat in them. I'm going to preheat the pans, so I'm going to wait a few minutes at least until the pans are really, really hot. Once they're in the pan, I don't want to touch them until I need to turn them. They're quite cold, so they won't cook too much in the middle, so I can leave them a little while. Flip them, colour on the other side, cheese on top, lid on, melt the cheese, and then they come out.
You've got to be ready to catch that if I have to go and get the fire alarm. Take it off the heat.
Ah!
I don't feel like I quite got the ooze from the cheese that we were looking for before it got so smoky in here that I couldn't see anything. So what I'm doing is taking a blowtorch to just to the top, and it's just going to be like grilling that cheese, so hopefully it starts to melt down a bit more.
Are you thinking what I'm thinking?
I'm thinking that looks
Yeah,
like an
MSG! I'm quite nervous.
I'm quite nervous as well.
What have you got to be nervous about?
You're
You have
nervous.
nothing to lose.
In fact, if anything, we've cheated. Go on, Ebbers.
Straight off, 2 awesome looking burgers.
Oh, this makes me cry. Cutting a burger is the worst.
I do agree, but
You don't agree. You do it every single time you have a burger.
I do agree, but wouldn't you hate it more if I just ate it all? Cross section's good, little pink in the middle.
Cheers.
Cheers.
Cheers. I like the crunch and taste of the gherkin, the sweetness of the bun. It's meaty. I could happily stop there and tell you that is a delicious burger. Straight off, this is different in the sense that it's double patty, so 2 thin patties.
Cheers.
Cheers.
I feel that is so beefy, it's almost tastes like I'm eating it in a farmyard. Do you know that kind of like, it almost tastes so bovine that you could be there?
Well, I'm glad I haven't got to make a decision.
Both are delicious. I like the medium rareness of the first burger that's still a little bit more pink in the middle. But my favourite of the two was one with the double patty.
That was James's burger.
James's burger.
Well done. Well done.
I'm still a chef.
That is good.
I would happily have demolished an entire one of either, or possibly even both.
There's another one here.
Now,
Oh,
This
what
is-
is this?
this is different again, because this is our exact same burger, but without MSG.
I prefer this one to your first burger.
Really?
Yeah, definitely.
Why?
Because it just tasted a little bit off. But maybe it's just because I knew, but I don't think it was.
It made one element of that burger better, which was the patty itself. As soon as you've confused it with other flavours, it just dissipates.
It's interesting that you couldn't even notice it, or, you know, it didn't even make it better. So I think that answers a question in itself, which is interesting.
I sit on the fence on this one because it has had a lot of negative press over the last several decades, but from what I've read, I still don't understand why you would ever need to add it into food. If there is a risk and a chance, and a small chance, however small it is, that it might, even in small doses, have a detrimental effect. And I also agree, as I sit on that fence, as would excessive salt,
Yep.
excessive sugar, excessive fat, excessive alcohol, excessive
into a
caffeine.
car, leaving the house.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I'm really glad that you preferred James's burger over ours.
I actually feel like that was a good thing for humanity.
If by some miracle we'd proved that actually this powder can take away all of that knowledge and you don't need it, then we might as well just pack up and go home.
Right, so comment down below on your thoughts on MSG. Is it cheating?
Now, we found loads of really interesting articles whilst researching this, and we've also linked out to those down below, so you can go and inform yourself and form your own opinions.
Speaking of chefs, in this week's podcast, we discuss, do you have to go to culinary school to become a chef?
It's very, very interesting. We get right into it, and if you want to hear that, then you need to sign up to our club, and you can find out about all of that down below. Every Sunday, we normally do a dad joke of the week hosted by Jamie. He's not here, but Barry's also a dad and also really great at telling jokes.
Shut up.
So it's over to him today.
Pressure, I hate this pressure. Went to the zoo the other day
Yep.
and saw a baguette in a cage. Apparently, it was bred in captivity.
Oh, you
I nearly screwed it. God, I hate this.
As we mentioned, we don't just make top quality YouTube videos. No. We've built the Sorted Club, where we use the best things we've learned to create stuff that's hopefully interesting and useful to other food lovers. Check it out if you're interested. Thank you for watching, and we'll see you in a few days.
If you get your hips into it as well,